Hi, I'm Mike Beliveau. I'm down in the shop, and I'm trying a little different camera arrangement, so the lighting won't be as good, but I have a lot of stuff here to show you. And what I'm going to talk about today is my everyday carry. And the reason I'm going to do it is because it seems like whenever I do a modern video, modern being 20th century, like the double action videos I've been doing, I get a lot of questions about what I carry. And I think maybe, some of you so used to seeing me do black powder, muzzle loading and cap and ball stuff that you're amazed that I can shoot anything that was made after 1899. So I think that's why I get quite a few questions. But once again, I recently did a double action video and I got scads of questions about what I carry. So I thought instead of just showing you the gun, I would just take you through my complete carry routine, because I actually think that the firearm may be the least important part of that carry routine. I mean, it's certainly, if the universe is operating correctly, it's certainly the thing you will use the least out of your everyday carry routine. And if you're using it, things have gone very bad. But there are other things that I carry every day that I think everybody should carry every day that I think are quite important, just common sense stuff. So I'm going to take you through that. And, hopefully you won't be too bored. And then we'll finish off with the firearms, because that's what everybody wants to see. So we'll save that to the end just to keep you watching. So what do I want to start off with? Well, this should probably be no surprise, but I carry a cell phone. And I think that may be the most useful self-protection, survival, emergency tool that a person can have. And mind you, I grew up in an era when cell phones weren't even imagined. I mean, I was in junior high when Mr. Spock and Captain Kirk were using their flip communicators and actually inspired the whole flip phone revolution that came later. So in my day, if you broke down out in the woods, you were doing a lot of walking before you got to a point where you could get any help. And as somebody who's been there, done that, no fun. Whereas these days, I mean, I've broken down up in the mountains in northeast Pennsylvania and luckily had cell phone coverage. I mean, I dropped my four-wheel drive linkage on a mountain track, and I was able to get a hold of my son Rob, who was hours away, and he got up, got me out of a jam. We got the truck out of there, got it into a local repair shop, and then a week later he was able to drive me back up to the mountains to pick it up. All because I had a cell phone. Otherwise, I would have faced a 5 or 10 mile walk before I could have got to anywhere where I even had a hope of flagging down a vehicle. So cell phones do you a lot of good. Now, I will say that I find myself, I used to find myself often in places that had no cell coverage, and then you're just totally, up the creek. But it's usually faster to get to a place with a cell coverage than it is to get to civilization itself. So, cell phone, carry it. Okay, so carry a wallet. Very important. This day and age, having ID, having credit cards, cash cards, quite important. But beyond that, also, you're going to be carrying your carry permits, because if you're going to be carrying every day, you want to make sure that you have got your carry permit, right? So I carry 2 of them, one from Pennsylvania and one from the state of Utah. I don't know if that'll focus in or not, but these get me about as much coverage as I can get nationwide, and very useful. Be sure you have them, because if you need if you need to use your firearm, you're going to want to show that you're legal. The other thing I carry is my carry insurance card. This is U.S. Law Shield. There are others. I'm not recommending these guys, but they're the ones that I use. Has a phone number on here to call, and it will get you a lawyer immediately. Should you get into a shooting scrape, no matter how righteous it might be, don't believe that the police are going to come and put a medal on you and pat you on the back and say, man, thanks for ridding the streets of that trash. No. I mean, the cops might even feel that way, but the DA might not. And in point of fact, opening your mouth up without a lawyer can land you in a lot of trouble, no matter how righteous your actions were. So before you call 911, call your attorney. If you don't have this insurance, I recommend that you have an attorney in your contacts that you know will represent you immediately should you get in a shooting scrape. Okay, so that's why a lawyer is important. Also, any certifications that you feel you need to carry. This is my full auto certification at my gun club. So if I am shooting full auto, which I don't do that much anymore, but occasionally, or if I'm going somewhere else where they require a certification for you to shoot full auto, well, I carry that with me. Okay, so that's all important reasons for carrying the wallet. Now, the other thing is, of course, I always carry pocket money with me, but in the wallet, I carry, tucked away, a substantial amount of cash of various denominations. Quite a substantial amount. Why do I do that? Because even though I pay for most of the things in my life, even though I pay for most of the things in my life with, an ATM card or with a credit card, because that's just the way modern commerce works, there are times when you just can't do that, and cash is king. If you break down in the middle of nowhere and you need to flag down a trucker and get a ride so you can do something about your vehicle, well, you're going to want to tip him. You may want to tell him up front you're going to tip him and how much, and he is not going to have an ATM on the dash of his truck, right? So cash will definitely do it. You may have places that won't take a check, that won't take your credit card to do a fast repair, change your tire, whatever you need. Cash is handy. Or you might find yourself in a situation like our friends in North Carolina did this fall, where they had these awful floods and lost power for weeks in some places, where ATMs and electronic cash registers are not working and credit cards are useless, and cash is just king in that situation, right? So you should always have some. And I carry a substantial amount on the wallet, and I'm going to tell you, you should have quite a bit in your house. Because if you hit a week-long or 2 weeks long or 3 weeks long situation where it's difficult to use anything but cash, you want to make sure you have some. Now, those of you out there with evil intent who say, hey, Mike's got a bunch of cash in his house, we think we'll go raid his house, I recommend you think twice about that. Otherwise, I'll be calling the number at U.S. Law Shield. Okay, so what else do I carry in the wallet? Well, this is the part where you're going to think maybe I'm a little bit over the edge, but I carry a Liberty 1 ounce silver coin, U.S. Liberty. These are U.S. Mint, accepted anywhere in the world. Depending on the exchange rate, this is worth anywhere from $20 to $50. Been running lately. Depending on how strong the dollar is, how good the economy is, that sort of thing. And I carry a gold British sovereign. This is worth between $300 and $600 or $700 even, depending on the state of the economy and whatnot. Why do I carry those? Because there are some places where cash is not king. And there are some times. And if you're using this, you're probably in pretty desperate times. When will you need that? I don't know. You might need it to get back over the U.S. border at some point if the rurales pick you up for no good reason. And I had friends years ago who were pulled aside by Mexican customs and basically kidnapped and shaken down. So if you think it doesn't happen, it does happen. And there are lots of places in the world where dollars aren't as handy as having a little bit of this. So I always have those tucked away in the back of the wallet. That's why I carry my wallet. So what else do I carry? Well, I always carry a flashlight. I carry this one. It's a pen light. I've carried a lot of different pen lights over the years. It's quite powerful. Very small. Clips to my pocket, so it's easy to get at and it's out of the way. I don't even know I'm carrying it, but you'll find many uses for this to illuminate those dark corners of your mind, maybe. But I find I use the light quite a bit, just around the house. You need to do things, so they're handy to have. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like lights mounted on firearms. The only light I have mounted on a firearm, I have mounted on a 45 ACP carbine, because I have that in case I need it for night fighting. But for the most part, I don't like muzzling stuff that I only want to illuminate, because don't muzzle something you're not willing to destroy is one of the four rules of gun sight, and it's a good one. So I prefer to have a separate light because I find I need a light. I need illumination more often than I need bullets. Let me put it that way. So this is what I carry. And next is a jackknife, pocket knife. This is a Ken Onion Ripple cricket knife. It's got this little lever here, so it opens up quite easily. Now, this is going to be used, at least it's used by me, a lot more often to cut the tape on Amazon boxes or to cut pieces of string or cut a stick down to size than it is to fillet somebody's liver, right? But there is not a day that goes by where I don't use a pocket knife for something. Usually several times a day. Now, I grew up carrying a pocket knife. I've been carrying a pocket knife since I was probably 8 years old. Every day at school, because I'm of the era where they knew we weren't nuts. So teachers and nuns didn't care if we carried pocket knives. We played mumbly peg in the schoolyard, right? Where you balance a knife on your wrist and your finger and on the top of your head and try to stick on the ground. Jackknives were as common when I was growing up in the schoolyard as marbles and pitch cards, right? Baseball cards or other variety of cards. Civil War cards were big when I was a kid too. And nobody thought anything of it. Now, of course, these days, I guess if you gave your 10-year-old a jackknife to carry to school, they'd probably put you in jail. I don't know. I mean, the world's gone crazy, but I carry one of these every day. And I'm going to say, one of the reasons I was interested in joining Boy Scouts when I was 11 is because when I joined Boy Scouts, I got my first sheath knife. But I had a jackknife for years before that and still do, and it is incredibly handy to have. I've got lots of different jackknives. Some of them designed specifically for fighting. But I've been carrying this one for years. Why? Because it's the most handy knife I've got. I mean, I keep it sharp. It'll do for self-defense if it has to, but it's also great for cutting the tape on boxes. Very handy to have. So have a jackknife. Okay. So that's all the ancillary stuff. Now we can get down to the stuff that I know you're the most interested in. What firearms do I carry? And I'm going to be honest, it varies by season. And for a long time, like 20 years, for the summer, for pocket carry, I carried a 1972-ish, 3-ish, Colt Cobra snub-nose revolver. Love that gun. It was very light, aluminum frame. Theoretically, plus P capable. I would only try it with plus P just to make sure I was hitting where I aim. The rest of the time I'd use the standard ammo because I don't think those old Colts are really that suitable for it. But it was very light, fit great in a pocket holster, and I carried it for a long time. But it has hit the point now, it's still in pristine condition, where it's more valuable as a collector piece, like a lot of the snake guns, than it is for an everyday carry. So just this year, when I got back out of the hospital, I retired it. And I retired it in favor of this, a Smith & Wesson 642. Now, this is a J-frame 5-shot revolver, whereas my Cobra was a 6-shot. It's just below a 2-inch barrel, but I like it. It's hammerless, doesn't snag. I had an action job done on it because the triggers on these things are typically horrendous. But this one is very smooth. It shoots quite accurately. And I'm able to carry it in a pocket holster in the cargo pocket of my cargo shorts during the summer. And in the summertime, I like to wear cargo shorts and a t-shirt tucked in. And I don't want to wear a cover garment. So for many years in the summer, I have carried a pocket revolver. And this is probably what I'm wearing 90% of the time in the summer months. What do I carry the other 10% of the time? Well, sometimes I just can't wear cargo shorts. But I still don't want a heavy cover garment. So I want a gun that is easily concealed, that I can just pull my t-shirt up over, or at the most wear a light sports shirt outside of my pants. And for that, I use this gun, which is a Colt King Cobra 357 Magnum with a 3-inch barrel. And originally I got this actually to be my pocket carry, but I found the 3-inch barrel is like a 1/2 inch too long to really get down in that pocket and conceal well. So this is a better belt gun. But the fact is, though, I love it. And I've got a lot of 20th century Colts. I have a modest collection of them. I like them very much. This gun is a 21st century Colt. It's the reissue of the Colt Cobra. And I have to say, it is excellent. It has probably a better trigger than the originals. It's lighter than a Python, even though it's all steel. So it conceals better than a Python. I considered getting a 3-inch Python. I actually like this much more. And I carry this in an inside the waistband holster, loaded with 357 Magnums. And with both of my revolvers, I carry a speed strip for reloading. Not as fast as a speed loader, I know, but they're easier to carry concealed than a speed loader is. I love speed loaders, and I've got speed loaders I am very fast with, but they're a little bulky on your belt, you know? I mean, they're fun for competition, but I don't think they're great for everyday carry in any kind of deep concealment. So this is my other summertime rig if I can't pocket carry. Lovely gun. I can't speak highly enough of this. It's accurate. It just feels great to shoot it. Colt CZ now, CZ Colt. They've got a winner with this gun for sure. I didn't think I'd be a fan of 21st century Colts, and that's the only one I own. But I really like that one. So that's my summer battery of everyday carry. Now, when it gets cooler and I'm going to be wearing a jacket or a heavier shirt, like a chamois cloth shirt that I wear outside the pants. And this is the gun everybody wants to see, I know. This is what I carry. This is, just to show you, got a heavy spring. Okay, so just to show you, all empty. So this gun, there, it's got a very heavy spring, recoil spring in it for good reason. I've got my regular carry magazines in it right now. I don't know if you can see this, but they have got a spring right here. And what that spring does is it ensures that when I hit the button to junk a magazine, it goes. It goes all the way completely. Now, this gun was originally chambered in .40 Smith & Wesson. I had Fink's Gunworks put a .357 SIG barrel in it. And you might wonder why. Well, I never liked .40. I think it's a compromise caliber. I love 10 millimeter. .40, well, .40 just never felt right to me. I don't know. Hard for me to describe, I guess. I always liked .357 SIG, but I didn't like the guns that it came in. So I realized when I had that .40 Browning and I was shooting .40s in it and not liking it, that I had a platform that I could convert to .357 SIG. And I like the .357 SIG because I like .357 Magnum. Now, I used to shoot a lot of .45 ACP, but it got so, I don't know if you can see how gnarly this finger is. It got so I got pretty bad arthritis in my gun hand. And I got that from shooting decades of shooting lots of heavy .45 and .44 ammunition. Because I don't have it in this hand, right? You can see how different they look. This one's quite gnarly. So if I do an extensive session with .45 ACP, or .45 Colt for that matter, which I still do, I end up with pretty sore hands. So years ago, I switched over from .45 ACP to .38 Super, which I do love. But I think the high power is a better handgun than the 1911. I know that may elicit shock and disagreement from a lot of you, but the fact is, that's my thought. Once you've made certain changes, like taking out the magazine disconnect, getting a trigger job on it, that sort of thing. I've got a 9mm that's set up exactly like this, with the same Cocobolo grips. I've got cylinder and slide, wide paddle safeties on here. Right, that's one of the, I think one of the downsides of high powers as they come is the safeties are hard to hit. They're small. These are easy to hit, just like a 1911 safety. Very simple for me to get them on and off. Very handy. Drop that. So I use my 9mm a lot for practice. I do practice with this. I have practice ammo for it. But this will give me 13 or 1400 feet per second with a 125 grain bullet. And it does what it's supposed to do. It's extremely accurate. No grip safety to monkey around with. In fact, if Colt came out with a model of 1911 with no grip safety, commander size, single stack, for 38 Super, I might retire this, because I do love the 38 Super round and shoot a lot of those. And as I said, I carried a 38 Super for years, but it was a full-size 5-inch gun, and this is a little more compact, and it just handles better. So this is my cold winter EDC. I carry one of these, spare magazine. I use inside the waistband holster, We the People. Very good holster, carries it fairly deep. I carry on my right hip, so pretty conventional. I don't like appendix straws, maybe because I'm a bigger guy, so it's just not comfortable for me to sit down with pointed right at my private regions. But this is a fun gun to shoot. It's accurate, it's totally reliable, and I have no problem trusting my life to it. And when it hits something, you hit it in the right place, it's not moving again. That's just the way it is. So, everyday carry. So that's what I carry about in my person. Now, I'm going to finish this off with talking about one area, which is, I've got to admit, I do not carry 24/7. I don't carry a gun around the house. I just find it uncomfortable. I mean, you're sitting on it. You know, if you're in your easy chair and you're a big whale like me, it'd be hard to get it out if you're running into trouble. So, I don't trust on the good nature of my fellow humans and have no protection. So, I am protected around the house, even though I'm not carrying. And I'm just going to run you through what I've got. First of all, this guy lives in an easy-to-reach area right near my front door. So if there is a difficulty in the vicinity of the front door, I can easily put my hands on this and hopefully settle a problem. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I know looking at me, you think I must live in there, but actually I kind of have my secondary office in there, but it's the office I actually end up using the most because my other office is in the basement. And going up and down the basement stairs, I do it every day, but it's not as much fun as it used to be before I got all broken up. And I like looking out at nature through, we've got a big picture window in the kitchen. So I keep a laptop up there, and I usually have some books up there, and that's where I do a lot of my research and writing instead of down in the office, which is where I do most of my editing and photo processing and all that good stuff. So, in the kitchen, I have a Ruger Security 6 with a 2 3/4 inch barrel, 357 Magnum, easily accessible, will not be pleasant for bad guys. If I should happen to be in the family room, in my easy chair, watching TV, and somebody should break in, I don't get up out of an easy chair as fast as I used to. So I'm not making it to the gun by the door or any of that stuff. So I'm just waiting for him. Because what I have is a book on my side table, and books are not unusual all around here. Except this book, when you open it up, contains a Taurus 905 snub-nose revolver in 9mm and an extra moon clip full of 9mm ammo. It's a 5-shot double-action revolver, like a J-frame. Had it for years, and should someone break into the house and I'm in the family room, this is what they're going to walk into. The rest of the time, it's just an innocuous book sitting beside my chair. And finally, when I'm sleeping peacefully at night, in my sock drawer, there is a Smith & Wesson 925. That's a double-action snub-nose 45 ACP revolver. It's on the big end frame I'm not worried about concealing it, but it's very handy. Fits in the drawer very well. As on all of my revolvers, all my guns pretty much, I have custom grips. These are from Eagle Grips. They're a boot grip. They call them the Agent. For me, they make this gun fit my hand like it grew there. The gun is extremely accurate, and I sleep well at night. So that is my entire personal carry battery. I shoot other guns for fun. These are the ones that I carry for self-defense. So I hope that answers the questions that everybody's had. I hope you enjoyed getting a look at them. And maybe when the weather's a little bit better, we are having our first snowstorm of the season now. Maybe I'll do some shooting videos with them. We'll see. Anyway, hope you liked it. Until next time, bye.